As an entrepreneur, I've spent most of my adult life feeling like a prisoner in two different scenarios. One was a job that I absolutely hated, and another was being a prisoner to the algorithm. And I'm afraid that there's a lot of business owners that are going to fall into that same trap without even realizing it. Most people think the goal is self-employment. Others think that the goal is to go viral. Well, I've lived in both of those worlds, and either one of those can easily become a prison. Today, I'm going to talk about the two most painful experiences in my professional career and how it has led me to today, and what I think about money, business, and content, and how they all live together. My name is Matthew Isbell, and I built an online brand called Bama Beach Bum, which was a fishing YouTube channel that I, of course, posted videos on Facebook and Instagram all across the social media world. And I built that to over 600,000 followers, and I've tied in several different businesses within that brand. The first prison that I found myself in was when I was selling life insurance. I started this pretty soon after I got out of high school. It wasn't too long into my professional career that I started selling. I was selling life insurance for almost 10 years, and it is a very difficult business. Most of what I did was door-to-door sales. I would buy leads that people had sent in through direct mail, and most of the time I would go and knock on these doors unannounced and hopefully have the opportunity to get inside and sell them life insurance. If I didn't have leads, sometimes I would just go up and down streets and knock on random doors and attempt to build rapport quickly and get inside and make my pitch and hopefully make a sale. This was an expensive business. I had to pay so much money in leads. It was very difficult for me to stay ahead. I was constantly chasing deals, always feeling the pressure. Every month I was starting back at zero. I dreaded waking up in the mornings and walking out of my door and going out to sell life insurance. It was soul crushing for me. It was a product that obviously is important. I don't think life insurance is a bad thing, but I was not passionate or excited to go and talk about people dying and try to make that sale. But I did it for 10 years, and it was just a very long grind, and I was under this impression that I was self-employed, but I didn't really own a business. I was just trading my time for a very high stress situation that I was barely covering any expenses. I know a lot of other business owners can relate to this situation where we want to work for ourselves and we want this dream of self-employment, but many times we just find ourselves in a very difficult job that we have created for ourselves when we're not free of anything. We still have just a regular job like anybody else, but with a lot of added pressure. I'm pretty stubborn. It took me 10 years to finally call it quits and look for another opportunity. And it was a big enough pain point that I knew I had to find a different answer. This was around 2017, and I was consuming a lot of YouTube content at the time. And my favorite hobby was fishing. And I noticed that there were a lot of fishing content creators that seemed to be doing pretty well at the time. I was already fishing a lot, so I had the conversation with my wife that I would just start filming my fishing excursions. And the goal initially was maybe after a year of posting content, maybe I could earn enough money because I knew there was this opportunity of ad revenue from videos that maybe we could pay our rent, which at the time was around $1,000 a month. And if I could at least do that, I'm not wasting time on a hobby that I loved to go fishing. I felt guilty because I wasn't making enough money from insurance that I needed to monetize my hobby. So this was a fun, new, exciting project. We all understand this feeling as entrepreneurs when we're starting something new and the opportunities are flying high and we just don't know where it's going to lead, but we have all the excitement and all the hope in the world. And I was pursuing something that I loved in addition to that, which was fishing. And I just thought it was the coolest opportunity that one day I could go out and do something that I loved and earn an income from that. And something crazy happened. It actually started to work. I started to get views and people that subscribed to my channel and watched and engaged. And it just continued to grow. I started spreading to other platforms like Facebook and Instagram. I started getting people reaching out to me that were asking me to take them fishing. So that was my first business that grew out of my social media. Was I started guiding, started charging people to take them fishing on the beach. My channel continued to grow and grow, and around 2020, 2021, which That was the big boom in social media. My channel was exploding. My Facebook was doing incredible. I was earning a lot of income from both of those platforms from the ad revenue alone. So I stopped guiding at that time because I was making so much money just from making videos that I was like, hey, I don't even need to run this business. I can just go make videos and earn an income. But I learned the hard way that I still did not own anything, that I did not own these audiences. I could not control the algorithm, in spite of the fact that I would know what worked or what worked last week or last month. There was always things changing, and I just couldn't keep up with constantly pleasing the algorithm and the audiences that would decide what they wanted to watch this week versus last week. And so it positioned me in a place where my income was very volatile. And it got even harder as we moved into like 2022, 2023, 2024 to keep up with those algorithms. I don't have any control over who sees my videos. The algorithm is completely in control of that. If the algorithm changed overnight, so did my income. I was dependent completely on ad revenue and the amount of views that I was getting on YouTube and Facebook. So here I found myself in another prison. The first one was a job that I was stuck in with no freedom. And now I found myself a prisoner to the algorithm and constantly trying to keep up. And because I didn't own the attention of the audience that I had, it was still in control of this almighty algorithm, I didn't really own a business. So that painful experience led me to start thinking of how do I escape this prison of the algorithm. And this year I have spent a lot of my time on figuring out the best way to actually extract and own my audience by getting the people that love what I do, that follow my content, to actually become a part of my world, and I can stay in front of them and be in control of what they see and the messaging that I need to relay to them. So that's when I started really diving deep into back-end automation, looking for ways to get leads through lead magnets, through my content. If I had all of this attention that I built up over these years, but I wasn't doing anything with it, I couldn't point to something and say, yes, that's mine. I can control this, or I can direct these people to a certain path. So I started studying hard how all of this works and really the best ways to attract attention and then take that attention and turn it into something real, and owning my lists. So I stopped chasing just looking for the next sale or just chasing views, and focusing my energy on what actually makes a business a business. And being an owner and owning your audience and being able to make offers and have an actual path for people to take to exchange what you have to offer for money, that's what a real business is. And I didn't ever really have my hands on that or understand that full system and that full process until this year. I know that it sounds really simple, but a lot of people fall into this trap of thinking that they own a business or that they're creating content for the right reasons, but there's usually some holes in that system, and they're usually missing some piece of that puzzle to get people from the content front-facing side into their back end, making the proper offers and having a clear path for those clients and potential customers to take. Looking back over my professional career, and those two pain points, they were very important. It was important to lead me to this place that I felt the pain enough to find a better way and find a better answer. And I feel like it has positioned me in a unique place where I have grown a social media brand, and I've grown a lot of attention, and I understand what it takes to have a personal brand and build that trust with your audience. In addition to that, I also understand how important it is now to build out the systems in place so that you do have control and ownership over that audience and not just attention. Chances are, if you're a business owner, you're doing one of two things. You're hustling for deals, or you're chasing content, or both. And without the proper system in place, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels. Today, I'm building out the systems that I wish that I had in place when I started creating content 8 years ago. I don't teach how to create content just for the sake of creating content and gaining attention. I show you how to use content as an asset so that you can build a true business. If any of this sounds familiar and sounds like a situation that you have found yourself in as a content creator or a business owner, I have put together a blueprint for my lead engine and kind of the whole system, what it needs to look like front to back. It's a simple 2-page PDF. I'll send that to you. I have a link in the description. If you're interested in receiving that, you can fill it out and I'll send it right to your inbox. But I would encourage you to avoid the mistakes that I have made in building yourself into a prison and instead start building out systems that are going to allow you to have the freedom that you're looking for as an entrepreneur.